Chelsea Football Club has found itself at the centre of intense scrutiny and speculation following a crushing 3-0 defeat to Manchester City, a result that has not only dented the club's ambitions but also ignited widespread debate about the future direction of the team. In the immediate aftermath of the humiliating loss, the Chelsea board moved swiftly to release an official statement, addressing the situation and attempting to calm the storm brewing among fans, pundits, and the wider football community. The defeat itself was more than just a loss on the scoreboard. It was a performance that exposed significant weaknesses in structure, discipline, and mentality. From the opening whistle, Chelsea appeared second best in nearly every department. Manchester City dictated the tempo, controlled possession with ease, and capitalized on defensive lapses that have become increasingly concerning for Chelsea supporters. The 3 goals conceded could easily have been more, as City carved through the defense with alarming regularity. In the board's official statement, there was a clear acknowledgement of disappointment. The tone was measured but firm, emphasizing that the result did not meet the standards expected of a club with Chelsea's history and ambitions. The statement highlighted the club's commitment to success and reassured supporters that internal discussions were already underway to assess the current situation. While it stopped short of confirming any immediate managerial changes, the wording left enough ambiguity to fuel speculation about potential consequences. Behind the scenes, the pressure has been mounting for weeks. This defeat did not occur in isolation, rather, it was the culmination of inconsistent performances, questionable tactical decisions, and growing frustration among fans. The dressing room atmosphere has reportedly been tense, with players struggling to find cohesion and confidence. The lack of a clear identity on the pitch has been one of the most frequently cited criticisms, and the loss to Manchester City only amplified those concerns. The board's statement also touched on the importance of unity during difficult periods, called on players, staff, and supporters to remain together and focused on the long-term vision of the club. This appeal for patience, however, has been met with mixed reactions. While some fans understand the need for stability, others believe that decisive action is required to prevent further decline. The phrase, long-term project, has become increasingly contentious, with many questioning how long the rebuilding phase should realistically last. Tactically, the match raised several red flags. Chelsea struggled to cope with Manchester City's pressing and positional play. The midfield was overrun, unable to retain possession or provide adequate protection for the defense. The attacking unit, meanwhile, appeared isolated and ineffective, with limited chances created throughout the game. These issues have been recurring themes, suggesting deeper systemic problems rather than isolated mistakes. The manager's role has naturally come under intense scrutiny. Questions are being asked about team selection, in-game adjustments, and overall strategy. Critics argue that the team lacks a coherent plan, often appearing reactive rather than proactive. Supporters who once backed the project are now beginning to express doubts, particularly after such a high-profile defeat. The board's decision not to explicitly back the manager in their statement has only added to the uncertainty. From a player perspective, the performance was equally troubling. Several key individuals failed to rise to the occasion, and there were visible signs of frustration on the pitch. Body language, often an indicator of morale, suggested a lack of belief as the game progressed. Leadership on the field appeared absent, with no one stepping up to rally the team or change the momentum. This has led to discussions about the squad's mentality and whether the current group possesses the resilience required to compete at the highest level. The reaction from fans has been swift and vocal. Social media platforms have been flooded with criticism, calls for change, and expressions of disappointment. Match-going supporters made their feelings clear during and after the game, with audible frustration echoing around the stadium. The board's statement, while intended to reassure, has done little to silence the growing unrest. Many fans are demanding transparency and accountability, urging the club to take decisive steps to address the issues. Financially, the implications of continued poor performances could be significant. Failure to secure a top-4 finish or qualify for major European competitions would not only impact revenue but also the club's ability to attract top talent. The board is acutely aware of these stakes, which likely explains the urgency reflected in their statement. Maintaining competitiveness both on and off the pitch is crucial, and prolonged underperformance could have lasting consequences. Historically, Chelsea has not been a club known for patience when it comes to managerial struggles. The club's track record suggests that decisive action is often taken when results fall below expectations. This context adds weight to the speculation surrounding potential changes. While the board has not confirmed any immediate decisions, the pressure is undeniably building, and the coming weeks could prove pivotal. There is also the question of recruitment and squad composition. The club has invested heavily in recent transfer windows, bringing in a mix of experienced players and young prospects. However, the lack of cohesion suggests that the integration process has not been as smooth as hoped. Balancing short-term results with long-term development is a challenge, and the current situation highlights the difficulties involved in executing such a strategy. Despite the negativity, there remains a sense of cautious optimism among some supporters. Football is inherently unpredictable, and a turnaround in form is always possible. The board's emphasis on unity and long-term vision indicates that they still believe in the project. Whether that belief is justified will depend largely on the team's response in upcoming matches. The next fixtures will be crucial, not just in terms of results but also performances. Fans will be looking for signs of improvement, a clearer tactical approach, and a renewed sense of determination. The players, too, will need to demonstrate character and resilience, proving that they can bounce back from adversity. Media coverage has been relentless, with pundits dissecting every aspect of the defeat and the subsequent statement. Opinions vary, but there is a general consensus that Chelsea is at a crossroads. The decisions made in the near future could define the trajectory of the club for years to come. The board's handling of the situation will be closely scrutinized, as will the responses of the manager and players. In many ways, this moment serves as a test of the club's identity and values. How Chelsea responds to this setback will reveal much about its leadership, culture, and ambitions. The board's statement was an attempt to project stability and control, but actions will ultimately speak louder than words. As the dust begins to settle, the focus shifts to what comes next. Training sessions, tactical adjustments, and internal discussions will all play a role in shaping the team's response. The pressure is immense, but so too is the opportunity to prove critics wrong and restore confidence. For now, uncertainty remains. The official statement has provided some insight into the board's perspective, but it has also left many questions unanswered. Is this a moment of reflection and recalibration, or the beginning of significant change? Only time will tell. What is certain, however, is that Chelsea cannot afford many more performances like the one against Manchester City. The standards at the club demand excellence, and anything less will continue to attract criticism and scrutiny. The coming weeks will be decisive, not just for the current season but for the broader direction of the club. In football, moments of crisis often serve as turning points. Whether this defeat becomes a catalyst for positive change or a sign of deeper issues will depend on how Chelsea responds. The board has made its stance clear in words. Now, the challenge lies in translating those words into meaningful action on and off the pitch.